Good morning, Monday morning motivation with Chris and Ash. How's everybody doing today?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. Janelle is here. She says, hooray for Monday motivation. Looking forward to this one. So many things have improved with this way of eating. Most people think it's a fantasy. I would agree with you, honestly. When I first heard about all of this, for me, it was all kind of a fantasy back then for me. So
true.
It's really something. Let's see. Maritza is here. Says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Maritza.
Hey, girl. Oh, there's my phone.
Yep, there's that phone volume again.
Kicking in.
Somebody over here is having a hard time with turning their phone.
I guess so. Yeah, that would be me. Yeah. That would be me 2 weeks in a row. Tired.
Yeah, something like that. She even said, let me turn my phone volume down.
I thought I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn is here. 22QCast says,
Hi,
good morning,
Lynn.
Chris, Ash, and Mel, who I know is at your feet somewhere, and hi to the whole gang here today. Well, normally she's at our feet, but today she's decided the couch is hers, so she's back here behind us.
She's taking her morning nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how it is. You get up and you eat food and you go out to potty and then you lay on the couch while mom and dad have their first cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That's very exhausting. You need a nap to recover from all of that.
You need a break.
Let's see. Carnivore K is here. Good morning. And Carnivore K, if you did not see, I did reply to your email. We would love to get you in for a taste test. So Ash and I will look at dates and I will send that to you. So we'll get you involved in a video. So Cindy Demanch is here. Good morning, everyone. Having first meal on day 2 of a 7-day egg fast. Wow.
Oh.
Cindy's kicking it. Now, I have to give Cindy a hard time. That is old, decrepit grandma Cindy. I made the comment one time in a video that Cindy was like our grandma because she reminds both Ash and I, personality-wise, of both of our grandmothers, actually.
Which is a massively high compliment.
It's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
And ever since then, she's like, why all these other ladies get to be your aunts and I got to be your grandma? And I was like, well, Cindy, it has to do with your personality, not your age. But she still gives me a hard time about it. So I'm going to have to give her a hard time right back. So we're going to start calling her old, decrepit grandma Cindy, I guess.
Cindy, when you see my husband next, I believe that would be at Keto Palooza.
Yeah.
You can kick his butt. I just want to let you know you have full permission. You can knock him out. He's yours.
That's right.
He's yours.
Right. We love Cindy. She came out and watched us play in Russell Springs. She and
awesome.
her guinea pig Brian were there. Her sister Deb was there, and we just appreciate her so much. So let's see. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. So Cindy says next week she's doing 7 days of keto chow.
Oh, fun!
Well, that'll be a tasty little adventure in a modified version of fasting. That's cool.
Yeah. I would think that 7 days of keto chow with all the great flavors and stuff. And I will say too, like when I've had their shakes and stuff before, I mean, they're pretty filling, pretty satiating. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that works out for you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Cindy, how many keto chows a day are you planning on doing? Are you lunch, one for dinner?
Like how many?
How are you kind of doing that? That's just kind of interesting to think about. So
also, what are your favorite flavors?
Yeah. Let's see. Lynn says that's one I could do for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I know Lynn is a fan of the keto chow too. So there's Richard Williams. Good morning, neighbors. Well, good morning to you, neighbor.
Hello.
And we got Robert Hanna here. He says, good morning. Patricia Hoffman is here. She said, cute bandana, Ash.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Yeah, Ash is always looking fine.
Love is mine. We're going to be filming a couple of videos here after we're done with this live stream this morning. So we're excited about it.
Yep, we got a filming day today. So I've got a guitar lesson and then we've got a filming day. So we actually started with a couple of clips last night because the recipe that we're doing required a use of a dehydrator. And you guys are going to like this one. This is a cool one. This is something I haven't seen anybody do anything quite like this. So let's see. Marissa says, made your grits recipe and it was delicious. I will definitely be making it. Well, I'm so glad you enjoy that. I love that recipe. I love grits. You know, it's funny, that video actually didn't do as well. But my parents made the point when I talked to them about it. They said, well, you know, grits are kind of a regional food.
Yeah.
And that is sort of a weird thing. A lot of people actually asked me in the comments, they were like, what are grits? So I guess I'm just so much of a country kid. I didn't even take into account the fact that a bunch of people have never had grits or don't even know what they are, depending on part of the country they're in or where around the world they are. So,
but on a positive note, if you are missing the joy of having grits in your life because you don't know what they are and you're on a carnivore diet, now you can experience grits without the carbs.
That's right. That's
a win.
That's right. It's there for you guys.
Your grits recipe is really, really good, though. It's such a great, so good.
So good. I really loved that. Let's see. We have Lynn says she's going to consider it, Cindy. That's great. And Cindy says, hello, Chris, Ash, and Mel. It was great to meet you both. Well, it was great to meet you.
Yeah,
and it's too bad you don't live closer. We could just do like a weekly family dinner, but that's all right. We'll get you and Brian down here for something tasty soon. So I apologize for clearing my throat, folks. Allergies are bad, and we spent a bunch of time outside yesterday. So I got junk in my throat today. So
yes.
Patricia says, speaking of Mel's food, yes. Speaking of Mel's food, the video is filmed. I just got to get it edited so we can post it.
Yes.
So it is coming sooner than later. I promise. So Lynn and Ash looking all pretty this morning as always.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Lynn.
Look at that. Look at this. Just picture of radiance. Would you just look at it? Just look at it. Yes.
I'm just gonna drink my coffee.
Well,
y'all are very sweet. I love all of you.
That works. Carnivore K says, yes, I got your reply. Thank you. Yay. So excited. Well, we are too. That's going to be a lot of fun. Cindy says it will vary between shakes, ice cream, waffles, pancakes. As for favorite flavors, way too many to count.
Oh, cool.
I like that. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
The banana bread is by far my favorite that I've had so far.
It's really good. Yeah.
I don't really do a lot of keto chow because I'm mostly just sticking to carnivore, but I use keto chow as kind of my treats from time to time. She loves the keto chow shakes when we're like super busy, but we've with me being home and not working a day job, we haven't had a lot of need for that kind of stuff lately. So
I also love things like I have way more of a sweet tooth than Chris does. And I love things like ice cream and milkshakes. Like those are probably my favorite things. So I think for me, being able to have something like keto chow instead of just going off the rails and getting an actual, chocolate shake it just works. But I used to, when I was working a bunch, they would be great meal replacements.
Yeah.
And they were just super helpful. I love keto chow. And especially now they're salty stuff.
Yeah. Man,
I tell you what, especially with us being so busy recently and traveling a lot and and allergies.
Those salty packs just save our bacon so much because we, touring around the way that we do, it's like you're drinking water from hotels and you're drinking bottled water and you're just doing all of this kind of stuff, trying to just keep everything under control as you're traveling and you're at gas stations and all of this kind of stuff. And we keep those salty packs, like a whole bunch of them in just a little bag that we can reach from wherever we are in the car or, whatever when we're traveling. And being able to grab one and just throw that into a bottle of water as we're traveling to have electrolytes and just keep ourselves doing that. That's fantastic.
Well, and, whether you're, playing shows, which is, really physical and you're dripping in sweat doing that or traveling, hauling gear, or, yesterday we went, we had a day off finally. And we went to a park about an hour outside of Nashville. So we put the dog in the car and we drove out and we had our electrolytes and stuff. And we just went walking around on a little hike in nature. And it was beautiful.
Yeah, you enjoyed the sun.
Yeah, just if you're outside, come on, just stay hydrated. It's so good. But salty saves my butt daily.
Yeah. If you guys there is a salty and keto chow website link in the description. And I have a discount code there. You can go and get yourself a discount on those. And I highly recommend them. So go click that link and you can get the salty and the keto chow both from the Keto Chow website. And tell them Chris Cooking Nashville sent you by using my discount code there in that link. So
yeah.
Let's see. We have Janelle says new dehydrator recipe. Yes, yeah. This is going to be a good one, and it's probably something you guys are going to be like, "What in the world?" Is it going to be another one of those where people are like, "Whatever made you think to do this?"
It's going to prove that Chris is crazy, but in a mad kitchen scientist genius way.
Yeah. It's really pretty. Cool. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So Cindy says, sorry I messed up the live I did Friday at the end with me sideways.
Oh, don't worry. Well, Cindy, for 2 weeks in a row,
problem.
I apparently can't turn the volume off on my phone. So, you're fine.
It's all good.
It's all good.
We just appreciate you being there and supporting us like that. So
don't sweat it.
Yeah, we love when people come and see us at shows, meet us, give us hugs, live stream our stuff, post about it. Like it just helps us massively.
You're a sweetheart. Don't sweat it at all.
We just we love
Stop. I'm gonna give her permission to hit you when she sees you.
Listen, she can hit me. That's fine.
Take him out, Cindy. Take him out.
Fine. I watched her and her sister Deb interact. Okay, I know they know how to take a joke. They're good. They're both
good humor.
And they're both very quick-witted about the whole thing too. So, let's see. We have Cindy says you two are the most pure, cute, perfect couple. You're very sweet. It's really all her. I just try to follow her lead. So. Patricia says she loves the salty. Yeah, we do too. We do too. Cindy says, Ash, you should make a shake like Neely does. 2 tablespoons melted butter, 7 ounces of water, keto chow, and ice in a blender. Nice, thick, icy shake.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that sounds really
pretty
good.
similar to how I make them for you, but that might be a different ratio than I use. Let's try that because I sometimes use cream for you as well. We might have to try it with just the butter for you like that and see what you think. So that would be cool. Cindy says video coming out in a day or two. Very cool. Janelle says my screen keeps freezing and reloading. Anyone else having this problem? Is it just my internet? And Cindy says breaking up. It's probably weird. Our internet connection, something being weird. So we've been having some internet issues here. So let us know if you guys can hear us, if it comes back. What's going on. So
you
might take your phone off the Wi-Fi as well if it's on. I don't know if it's
yeah, my phone is off the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Well, just have to see.
Let me see here if I can.
Yeah, just see if it's working. Says like every other word is breaking up.
Breaking. Well,
interesting. Well,
I'm wondering if it's the Wi-Fi or could it be the microphone?
No, I don't think it's the microphone. I think it's if the screen is freezing, like Janelle said, then that would be the internet. So if you guys see it clear up or if it continues, let us know what's going on. So, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you guys are watching. So, Carnivore K says it reloaded a couple of times, but it's fine now. So.
Mine's clear on my end.
Sometimes AT&T's internet is not particularly good, but it's the only option we have here. So
it's usually pretty good. I noticed they've been doing a lot of like road work and different things like that. And I think some of the lines have been damaged from storms. So I bet they're probably just working on something.
Yeah. It's a little bit of something.
Yeah. 22 who has said, yes, mine is fine now. Also, Janelle says better for now. Patricia Hoffman says, mine's pretty good, but I have high-speed internet. Gave up cable TV.
Cool.
Good for you.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got the highest speed internet that we can get with where we are, but unfortunately we rent and Google Fiber has not made it here, and AT&T is the only option that comes into our complex where we rent our townhouse. So we just do the best we can, guys, and we live right next to the lake, so I can't even use cell service to do any of this because we don't have enough cell service here to get a good connection. So,
but we do live right there at the lake, and that is very nice.
It makes it quiet around
very
here.
Quiet, very peaceful.
Yeah, if you guys haven't yet, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. We got 14 people watching and only 6 thumbs up, so we would appreciate that little thumbs up right there for you if you wouldn't mind hitting that down there and just let YouTube know this is something cool. So yeah. What are we talking about today?
Good stuff.
We're talking about good stuff. We're talking about fantasy becoming reality. And I know that's a little bit of a cryptic title, a cryptic message, but what really inspired this for me is I saw this video. This was, I don't know, probably a couple days ago on social media as I was scrolling, and I saw I think it was a short. I think it was a couple of days ago on Facebook, if I remember. And basically, I saw this, it popped up and it was talking about all these different people that were manifesting. And I got that. And if you believe in manifesting, that's fine. I don't. But I think that the principle behind why people believe in manifesting is a real thing. And I think I'm going to talk with you guys about that. Manifesting, I think, is sort of based on the idea of if you wish it hard enough, it kind of comes true. And I know that that's not really like strictly the definition of manifesting, but I think philosophically at its core, that's kind of what manifesting really is.
Mm.
I don't think that's a real thing. I don't think it matters how much you want or you wish for something. It's great to want it. It's great to wish for it, but it's the pursuit of it that brings it into reality. And I think what keto and carnivore has really done for us, aside from like the physical things in our body, what keto and carnivore has really done is help clear up our mind and help give us the focus and the energy and just the ability to harness the actual talents that we have and the actual energy we have, and putting the time and the effort and the dedication into the things that you want in your life.
Mm.
That, I think, is one of the biggest benefits that I have seen. I mean, my waistline, getting smaller is great, but what matters a lot more to me is the fact I can do things that matter in my life a whole lot better,
mm-hmm.
because I have the energy and the focus and the clarity of mind to do these things. And so what really got me thinking was fantasy living inside your head where, oh, I wish it was this, and I dream of being skinny in a bikini, or I dream of having the ability to do this thing, or I dream of losing this weight, or I dream of whatever, like all of these fantasies that we kind of live out in our heads. That, because we spend time in our head living into it, as it were, does not translate into any like actual real thing. But what does translate into a real thing is knowing I have that goal and that's important to me, and then using things like keto and carnivore and getting my mind right, and then putting in the time and the effort relentlessly to pursue that day in and day out, and refusing to take no for an answer. And if it doesn't work one way, sidestepping and trying it another. And if it doesn't work that way, moving in parallel and trying something related that still takes me to the same place, but it's maybe a different path to get there. And it's the constant work, the work ethic and the energy and the clarity and the pursuit of the thing that I want to be a reality in my life, and having the self-confidence and understanding the self-worth that you have enough to say, yes, I do deserve to succeed at this. So even if I don't succeed on the first try, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to beat myself down. I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm not going to look down on myself for not succeeding on the first try. I'm going to pursue continually. I say this all the time, pursue relentlessly. It doesn't mean that you're always doing a great job. It just means you're not stopping. And this ties in to what we were talking about back, I think this was a couple of weeks ago or maybe a week ago. We were talking about this idea. We were hoping that if we continue to strive for something and we don't give up on that thing, that we can achieve that thing, right? Like we continue to work at it, we continue to chase it, and we have to realize that we are worth that and we have the ability to do these things, and we don't give up on these things. And if we continue to pursue those things and we don't stop pursuing those things, we will eventually achieve it, because we can work that hard and we can continue to go after, whether it's a thin waist or whether it's, dropping a pant size, or whether it's a smaller shirt, or whether it's just control with a keto diet or a carnivore diet, or just getting the extra carbs out, maybe not even being at a point of being keto yet. Maybe you're just trying to improve your diet a little bit, and you're just trying to get that under control. And that's the kind of stuff where, we have to realize that we don't have to give up on these things, because we only fail. We talked about this like last week or the week before. We only fail if we quit trying.
Mm-hmm.
Failure doesn't happen because of a circumstance that makes it impossible for us to succeed. failure happens because maybe there's a circumstance that makes it not work the first time or the 10th time or the however manyth time. Or maybe there's something about it that's difficult we're struggling with. Or maybe there's some thing we need to learn to overcome. But failure only happens when we get to that point and then we stop there. And if we continue forward, there's no reason we fail. We're just still trying to build. And this is that same kind of a thing. If you want to go from fantasy to reality, it only stays fantasy if you refuse to continue working at it. And if you don't continue going forward and trying to make it happen because you give up on it, that's when it just lives in fantasy world and it never comes into reality. But when you put the work into it to try to change fantasy over to reality, it's not going to be easy. It's a step-by-step process, but we don't have to do it all at one time. We do it a little piece at a time, and your weight, you don't have to lose 150 pounds in a month. You need to lose a few pounds in that month. Maybe you don't even need to lose any pounds in that month because your body has other things to heal first, and then it can lose the weight later. Like, doing the right things leads to the right outcome. But it's our job to be patient when it's really hard to, and to also not stop pursuing it. Those are my thoughts. What do you think?
I think you're preaching this morning.
Am I preaching?
No, I totally agree. I think it's really true. I also, I was reminded. So I love to watch this lady on YouTube and Instagram. She has a huge following, but her name is Cody Sanchez. And if you guys have never heard of Cody Sanchez and you just like to be encouraged, and if you're kind of into like being an entrepreneur or starting a business or time management, all that kind of stuff, she is just a whiz at this kind of stuff. But she's like a self-made millionaire, and she kind of puts out this free information on like YouTube and Instagram. And Chris and I both just love her stuff. But she brought up a point the other day in one of her videos where basically what her point is the difference between people that are massively successful and those that kind of really want to do something, say they fantasize about it, but they don't actually do it and succeed. Is she goes, a millionaire or a billionaire especially will basically know they need to do something, say like lower their carb count or do this or do that or do whatever. And they just immediately go and they do it. They jump right in. And then they stop and they adjust as necessary and they kind of do this thing. But it's like they say that they're so successful because by the time that somebody else has kind of waited around to start doing what they should be doing and waiting for like perfect circumstances and, I'm going to wait till this, or, I'll start that again on Monday or whatever. A successful person has basically already jumped in and they've already done it so many times and for so long that they've already made the mistakes and then adjusted what they need to. So therefore they are miles ahead of other people because they have a sense of urgency of like, I know I need to be lowering my carb count. I know I need to be doing this. And so they jump in and they just, they figure it out. And so I think that is something really good to remember, because I think for me too, I'm very guilty of this. It's like, I want to wait until things seem to be like the perfect circumstance to do something, like when I wanted to do carnivore for the first time. I was like, they're setting yourself up to succeed, but there's also like kind of like making excuses, or it's like, I know I should do that, but let me wait until this month where everything's like, really, really easy for me and whatnot. But also it's like, well, wouldn't it just be better if I would have just started doing this? And then if I did fall off the wagon, or if we had an event or something, just the next meal, not the next day, not the next week, not Monday, just go right back to it. That means over time, I would have been lowering my carb count all along. And I didn't need to wait 6 months to say, start a 30-day carnivore diet. I could have done that months ago and I would have been further along in my health. And so I think we just wait sometimes for perfect circumstances and perfect things. And like I said, there's a balance between setting yourself up to succeed, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're not going to just start doing what you need to be doing, and if you're not putting in the work, can't really wish it. And I think like, it's just not going to happen for you. I think that's just the truth of it. And I think that's why this morning on a Monday, it's like, I think we all have dreams and goals and aspirations, and we would love for you guys to, put your goals and like what it is you're trying to succeed with in your health or just in life in general in the comments. And it's like, what are your goals and how can we encourage you and, motivate you in those? But also like really want to encourage you this morning, not just to listen to what we're saying, but walk away from this hopefully feeling empowered and inspired, and literally get off this live stream and literally start doing what it is you need to be doing to move yourself further along in your journey and in your next step, because that's how we see progress, and that's how things, happen.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
I totally agree.
And if you do it, and then if you fall off, okay, go right back to it the next meal, you know, like, I mean, just jump right back on. Sorry, you were going to say.
No, it's okay. You can't fail if you don't quit.
Yeah, exactly.
So, exactly. No, I was going to say, if you're watching this video right now, whether it's live or the replay or whatever, stop for just a second and think to yourself, what is something that I want to see that's a fantasy, a dream, whatever the thing is that I have that I want to see become a reality. Like, stop and actually think of one. And if you want, put it in the chats. Like, this is something I'd love to see happen for myself. Put it out there. And it's this is where I'm saying, like, the manifesting thing. I saw someone ask what manifesting is, this manifesting thing. And they were like, is this kind of like giving it to the universe? And it's like, yeah, basically it's kind of that idea of, if you give it to the universe and you just believe hard enough and you just assume that it'll happen, that the universe will start giving you the circumstances and giving you the opportunities and surrounding you with the people, and it's all going to happen. And I understand the base philosophy. I think the idea is born out of. I think the way it's applied with manifesting is something I don't agree with, because I don't think the universe is going to listen to you because you want something. That doesn't. There's nothing in the world that indicates that's a real thing. However, I do think if you put it out there because it's something that you desire and something you pursue, I think subconsciously, people that believe in manifesting, that say it works for them, I think subconsciously they're starting to make decisions based on the confidence that can actually happen. And they don't recognize that what they're doing is actually pursuing the thing they want to be a reality in ways they weren't before. So regardless of what you want to call it, think about something that you want to be a reality right now. Put it in the comments or put it in the chat if you want, because if you say it out loud or you type it out loud, it makes it a real thought in your head. And then once you have done that, say, okay, what is one step tomorrow that I can take towards it? What is one step today I can take towards it? And don't try to figure out all of the things you got to do, and don't look at the very end goal like right now. Like if you say, I want to lose 50 pounds, okay, don't look at I need to lose 50 pounds. That's trying to swallow the whole elephant. Don't swallow the whole elephant. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. Okay, so if I need to lose 50 pounds, if that's the reality that I want, well, there's 50 steps along the way, which is a pound each.
Right.
So what can you do today and then tomorrow to take a step towards losing a pound? That's the way we have to think about this. We can't think about, I need to lose 50 pounds. What do I do to lose 50 pounds? Well, who knows what you do to lose 50 pounds? It doesn't matter what you do to lose 50 pounds.
Right.
What matters is, what do I do today to make myself healthier, a little more active, a little bit better with my diet, a little bit less toxic with the junk coming in, like whatever it is you got to do. And then what can I do today and then leading into tomorrow to take a step in that direction so that I can work towards losing that first pound of the 50.
Yeah.
That is how we take fantasy and make it a reality.
Speaking of like manifesting and stuff too, and we always talk about this, but if you guys do not share the same faith that Chris and I do, totally cool. I'd still love to be your friend. But I think this parable is actually really kind of talking about the same thing here, though, whether you believe in manifesting or not. Cool. But for us, I think being Christians, there's a story, a parable that I was told years ago in church. And I think this really has a lot to do with what we're talking about. But basically, there were two farmers, okay? And there was a terrible, terrible drought. And they both hit their knees and they both prayed to God for rain. But one of them actually got up and he went out into his fields and he prepared his fields to receive the rain that he had prayed for. So at the end of the day, who do you think actually believed God for the rain?
Right.
The one that got up and actually did something. And it's like, you just can't sit around and be like, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, but then just sit there and hope and pray. It's like, no, you have to get up and prepare your fields.
Right.
And that's why daily, it's like you get up and you just take it day by day.
Yep.
And you just do your thing. And it's like, that's how you get successful. That's how you prepare your fields to, hit that goal of your goal weight or, better health or, whatever it is. But I think that is the thing that I see a lot of people lacking. And I also know too, I think things like being on a standard American diet, drinking alcohol for myself, different things like that, it really clouds your judgment and it really, really clouds up your brain. And it can be really hard to have a clear vision and a clear picture. And that's why I'm just like, man, this is why I'm so grateful for the keto and carnivore diet. And I think this is why we're so passionate and talking about this today, because there was a day where Chris and I could not have this clear of a mindset or realize that what we were doing by eating what we were eating, or, it's just one drink or whatever, would cloud our judgment to the point where we were becoming unhealthy, depressed, anxious, and not successful in anything, because we literally were just breaking down not only our bodies, but our brains. It messed with our emotions. And so I think it can be hard for people to, to kind of discover this truth and to kind of, to know and to kind of have that perspective. So I think this is kind of why we really wanted to talk about this though today.
Yeah.
And because it's like the further along you get in your health journey, the more clarity of mind you get. And the more energy you have, and the more you're better able to kind of see what's going on. And I just think that's absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see what we got going on in the comments here. Lynn says, thumbs up on my phone and TV both. Well, thank you very much, Lynn. You. And she says, what are you both drinking this morning?
Oh.
We both have the exact same thing.
Yep. It's delicious.
Gotta love it. It's a beautiful iced coffee, 2 shots of espresso, a little bit of heavy cream, pinch of Redmond's real salt, and our Lugol's 2% iodine. Yeah.
Super good.
Yep.
I, especially when it's a bit warmer outside, I love iced coffee like this in the morning. It is so good. So good.
Yep. It gets us going, keeps us feeling good. And, this kind of goes back to, again, the thing, like there's some people that it's like, well, it's not real carnivore if you're having coffee or any of this kind of stuff. Here's the deal. I was living off of like 10, sometimes 12 shots of espresso a day. Because I was working a day job and running YouTube and doing the music and I was doing so much. I was running on pure caffeine.
Yeah.
And I'm down to 4 shots of espresso a day.
Yeah.
That's a huge improvement. So basically cutting my caffeine intake by 66%. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal.
That's a
very big deal.
That's a big deal.
Very
So,
big deal.
One step at a time. So, let's see. Janelle says, I'm manifesting my hair will grow back. I think it's trying, but I think it's this way of eating. Yeah, this way of eating does a lot for your hair. I've noticed I keep having to go and pluck these random long eyebrows that I'm getting that are hanging down in front of my eyes. And then I get these random, I'll get these very small, wispy hairs, but they'll be super long. They'll come out of the side of my nose or off my cheek, weird places. And I realize it's such a boost of nutrition that some little random hair follicle that normally would just be the little fuzzy ones that we almost can't even see on our skin. Some little random hair follicle goes, woohoo! And it just takes off because of all the nutrition. And so I'm like,
yeah.
So yeah, it will do a big thing for you.
I will say too, for Janelle, she may already be doing this. Janelle's awesome. But if you're trying to grow your hair, so when I first started on keto, I for years I got lash extensions because my eyelashes had stopped growing. My hair had stopped growing. My nails had stopped growing. My diet was just in such a thing. And yes, keto and carnivore makes a big difference. But you may already be doing it. But if not, something that really helped me, because I've actually, Chris knows, I got rid of my lash extensions, which means I had no lashes because it ripped all of them out. And I had to start from fresh, kind of like growing all this back. And so I had to do some research. So basically, if you can eat butter, eat your butter, I'm just literally take hunks as much as you can, eat a stick or 2 a day. It will really help your hair grow, and your nails and skin and everything. And then anything super heavy in beef gelatin or collagen. Personally, bone broth. The more bone broth that you can inhale, the better.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're going to be mad that your hair is growing so much.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to go get a haircut like every month.
That's right.
But yeah, super helpful.
Yep. Absolutely. Made a big difference for you, for sure.
Oh, huge difference. Yeah.
Let's see. Cindy said winners never quit and quitters never win.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
Patricia says thinning hair, try extra collagen or beef gelatin, which is all collagen, helps hair, nails, anything continues to grow. That's right.
Yeah.
Cindy said she's got to run. She'll catch the rest of the replay. Love you guys. We love you too, Cindy. You're probably already gone, but we love you. And when you watch the replay, hopefully you'll know. So. Janelle says, tried all of the above for years. My nails are now unbreakable.
Oh,
that's
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. As a guitar player, it's made a big difference for me too.
Yeah, definitely.
Janelle says, yeah, no results with procrastination. Right on, Ash.
Yeah.
Patricia says the universe keeps changing its mind for me. I think, well, and that's the thing, it's like, do we sit back and believe the universe is going to give us things and then become a victim of all of the random circumstances that happen? Or do we say, screw that, I don't need the universe to do things for me. I'm going to seek out being successful. That's what we're trying to do. So, Lynn says, definitely day by day, but you just have to get started. That's right. That's right. You can't get to the end of a journey if you don't take that first step. Patricia says, acting as if it's already real. That's correct. Janelle says, walk by faith, not sight. Live it and it will happen. That's right. That is absolutely right. And let's see. Patricia says, I loved your story from the cruise where you noticed the couples would start bickering after a couple of drinks. There's a song in there somewhere. Yeah, there probably is. We really noticed it. Like, all of these families were eating all of this junk and people were drinking alcohol and they were all clearly dehydrated because they're sweating and then they're drinking alcohol on top of it. And it's like, people were irritated and they were fighting and they were butting heads and they were bickering. And then couples would sit down at the table at dinner time next to us and they'd be fine and they'd start drinking. And within a drink or two, they'd start sniping at each other. And then next thing you know, they're like being just real crappy. Like the way that they were speaking and the way they were acting. And it's like, like, what are you doing? Like, and it just, you could see the decline in their mental state at the moment.
Well, I think that's what's so sad. And like, clearly, I mean, we all used to be there, but I think when you're on the other side of it and you look, it's like, wow. So literally it's like you have millions and millions and billions of people walking around just poisoning their bodies and they don't even know it because it's so normal. And it's just, and then you see how it makes them act and behave. And it's like, man, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy therapist, but kind of sounds like someone wants us all sick and fat and depressed and not wanting to do anything. I mean it's like, wow.
It's just, if we're all fighting and we can't think clearly and we're all eating a bunch of junk and then we all need a bunch of medication and all of the people who are in power to make all those decisions have all the money and all the control. I'm just saying.
We're just saying.
I'm just saying. Follow the money. Follow the signs. It's all there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Addicted to Antlers is late but here.
Hey,
we're really glad you're here.
Yeah.
Linda says, this is exactly what I needed to hear today. I'm so good at researching and planning, but I really struggle with implementing the plan. I would also like to quit my day job, and I have a plan. So thanks to you and your message today, I will be implementing my plan today.
Yay.
That is exactly what we're saying. That's what we need to do. Everyone can plan how they're going to do whatever. But 99% of the reason that people never pursue or achieve the things that they're planning is because they don't start. I wanted to get out of my day job and I wanted it and I wanted it and I wanted it and I wanted it until finally when I started a YouTube channel and I saw it starting to grow, I found a plan for it.
Right.
And that's why, Ash used to be like, you don't have to post a video every single week, because at that point, this wasn't really like a job. Like I wasn't making money. This was just a thing that I wanted to do. And I was like, you're right. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, no, I need to. And this might be what I can actually use to get myself free of the thing that is holding me back. And then when I started making money from this, then I really doubled down. And that's why I was so busy doing the day job, but also all the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
We doubled down hardcore and I was running myself to death. but I didn't want to be there anymore because it was killing me. And I said, I can't do this. I can't stand this anymore. I have got to get out. And rather than waiting for a perfect circumstance, I just started pounding the pavement and beating my head until I figured out how to make it happen.
Right. Well, I think that's such a cool point though that you're making, because it's like, I know for you had told me for years, it was like you had this dream. Basically, like you and I wanted, like, well, you had the dream for me, but you were like, we're going to get married. And it's like you wanted to do, music full time, and you wanted to do all this stuff. And then when the pandemic hit and, we kind of lost everything and how to rebuild, it's like you kind of created a plan then to kind of make what you had manifested, what you had wanted, your dream, a reality. Like you had done the work and you had a goal and you had a vision. And I also think, like we would write down to, like these like goals that we would have. We do it quarterly, a couple times a year, where it's like we sit down and we write down what our goals are, whether that's financial, health, whether it's business, whatever it is. And so I think there's a lot of power though in like writing down, or, like your vision or like your goals or what you want, and then being able to go to the big picture and then work your way backwards to say, okay, so I want to be out of my day job. I want to lose 100 pounds. I want to blah, blah, blah. Go back and work backwards then from that and kind of work towards the goal.
Absolutely.
Kind of on the same subject, but I think it was a couple months ago, I was telling you, I was in the music room next door here at our house, and I was going through a bunch of like boxes and cleaning stuff out. And I found this old journal diary thing from when I was like, I don't know, in high school probably. And I opened it up and I was reading it, and I thought it was really, really cool though, because I literally was talking about, young Ash doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, but I literally opened it and I thought it was really cool though, because in this book, I talked about all these plans and like all these things I wanted to do with my life. And in it, I literally talked about like, I want to move to Nashville and I want to make country music. And I talked about like how I really want a golden retriever. And I even listed like a couple of names in there, like what I would name my dog, and Melody was one of them. And, just things like that. Like I dreamed of like, oh, I really would like one of these guitars one day and whatever. And I said, I found that book and I read it. And I literally was like, well, now I'm married. I live in Nashville. I make country music. Those guitars hang on my wall every day. I got my dog. It's like, but like clearly at my young self, it's like, that's what I wanted. And so it's like, I kind of put that in writing. I had a goal, and then I did years and years of work. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you have a goal and you work towards it, and boom, you're there. Love it.
Absolutely. Maritza says, amen. Yup. Big pharma.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I saw this thing on social media, and I'm trying to remember when this was. It had been in the last week or so, and I can't remember even where it was this popped up. It was like Facebook, Instagram, I don't know. It was somewhere, and it said something about like Ozempic, right? And it was talking about Ozempic and getting things under control, and it was showing these people eating terrible junk foods, and then obviously kind of directly saying, but implying, if you just take Ozempic, it'll fix all your health problems, and then you can eat all the trash you want. And it's like, why are we doing this? Like, why do we eat things that make us sick and then pay so much money for something that we then, just put inside of our body, just chemicals, more poisons to counteract the poisons we're already putting in? Like, it's just, there's no logic in this. And it just goes to show how much we have been brainwashed from birth by large companies that make money off of this.
I also think too, here I go now.
Here we go. I got her going.
You got me going.
I got her going.
No, I was talking about this the other day with somebody. I think we've kind of been conditioned in society too, that if something is hard, then why are you doing it? And the truth of it is, and I think we see this, in so much, it's like, okay, eating a whole food, keto, carnivore, wherever it is you land on that spectrum, is not always a very easy thing to do, is it?
Yeah.
But by God, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it is. because it's like your health and your well-being and your mental state. It affects the relationships with your family, your ability to work, to think clearly, to make good decisions. And so it's like, people, I think, on diets, I think they feel like, man, I need to go on a diet. And so they do it for a week or two or a couple days. And then it's like, well, I deserve this and I deserve that. And this is just really hard. So now I'm going to have a treat. And they just fall off the wagon. But it's like, we've been conditioned to not have any self-control, no discipline. It's like, well, why can't I just eat what I want and do what I want? And if it makes me happy, it's okay. And it's like, no, like, that's a very, lazy approach. And I think that we have been, especially people of my generation, have been really conditioned to think that, like, if it's hard and if it doesn't bring me pleasure in the moment, then then it's not worth it. I'm just going to do me. And it's like, okay. But yeah, it's just, I think it's just laziness. And it's honestly just brainwashing. And I think it's kind of ruining a lot of people's lives.
It is laziness that has been indoctrinated so that we don't recognize it as laziness. So it's not even a conscious laziness. It's a subconscious laziness. This is the same reason so many people ask me about my recipes. They say, when are you going to sell this at like Walmart and Publix and blah, blah, blah. You need to make all of this so I can buy it in the freezer section. And I'm like, I understand what they're asking for. But the reason I create recipes and the reason I teach people how to make it is we have got to stop relying on other companies to do it. Because when you let another company make your food, you give all of the control of your health and your life and your diet and your finances to someone else. And guess what? They don't give a crap about you. They do not care if you get sick and die so long as they get rich, which is why all of the junk that is on the shelves in the store is made of the cheapest, nastiest, most toxic, most addictive food like chemical crap that you can possibly make. Right? There's all of these programs out there that basically incentivize them using cheaper and cheaper junk. And then in the process of that, they make billions of dollars.
Right.
And then the government and the big pharma companies and all of these people that work with big food and everyone who has this whole thing, they're all getting rich because people are dying. And then it's like, okay, so how do we take back control of that? Well, instead of going to the grocery store and buying all the crap, go to the grocery store, buy the meat, maybe the fresh veg. There's a thumbs up again. If we do the meat, we do maybe the fresh vegetables. If you're doing keto, right? Some of the dairy, we get the things from the people that create that kind of stuff. And all the other junk on the shelves that's not good for us, we stop buying it. And we don't give anyone the power for that. I understand we have to rely on like farmers and cattle ranchers and people in this day and age, unless you're going to go out and do it for yourself and homestead, which, a lot of people can't do. I get it. Modern society, we can't all do that. But unless you're going to do that, we have to rely on those people, and that's okay. But instead of relying on a company to take good ingredients and make a product for us, just go directly to the source and get the good ingredients and then go make whatever you want out of it.
Right.
And you take power back. That takes all of the control of your life and your health and puts it squarely where it should be, in your hands. And so I understand when people say, hey, I just want you to make your bread and sell it at the store. I get that. But guess what? That's lazy. And I know you don't mean to be lazy when you're asking that question or when you're, telling me you want that. It's not like it's your intent to be lazy. You have been conditioned by a society that has told you food should come in a package ready for you to open up and eat. That's not the way food has existed for 99.99999% of human history. That has never been a thing until the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's killing us. So instead of worrying about me figuring out how to invest my entire life into creating a product that some company would then want to buy out, because just running a business like that would eventually just kill us and we'd have to sell to some bigger company that has the resources to. I'm one person. I can't run a company selling bread nationwide by myself. That doesn't work. the food system and the government and the way the grocery stores, like all of that stuff, the way the business model is set up for all of that, it does not work for me to do it. It just doesn't. So you pull other people in, and guess what? They want to maximize profits. They want to minimize costs. They want to make it as efficient as possible. And you know what they're going to do all of that? They're going to screw around with the ingredient list, and they're going to kill everyone in the process.
Yeah.
That's what every food company in the history of the world has done in this system.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't do it. And that's why it's like, I know people aren't trying to be lazy. It's not that I'm saying I blame you, but you have to realize if you look at my recipes and you say, I just want you to sell the carnivore bread in the grocery store, you need to change. That perspective right there, you need to see that for what it is, because that is what's killing you.
Yeah. I, the other day, speaking of this, watched a movie that just very recently came out, and maybe some of you have seen it. If not, I actually would recommend that you watch it, but it's called Unfrosted, and it's a very stupid movie, but it's hilarious. It's a comedy, like Melissa McCarthy, a bunch of comedians are in it. But it's literally about the creation of how they came up with Pop-Tarts. And it's funny, but it's funny because it's true. But the whole movie is about the different companies and how they work together to like literally take things out of a dumpster and the chemicals, and we'll change this, and well, kids will love this and we'll make money, and who cares if it kills them. And so it's literally a whole thing about the food system here in the United States. And it's funny, but it's funny because it's true. And I watched that movie and I was like, it was a stupid movie. I knew that watching it, but it's like, man, there is so much truth in this. And so I think to go like with what you're saying, go watch that movie. It's on Netflix, Unfrosted. Go watch it. And I think you'll have a great understanding of, if we did bring a company something like carnivore bread or whatever, what they would do to it, because they're there to make money and they don't care what they put into it. And they'll market it as healthy. And, you know, it will be junk out of a dumpster that they put into a plastic bag and they sell. It's just kind of the truth of it.
I think this is what sometimes people don't understand when they tell me I should sell my stuff in stores. And honestly, I wouldn't even be against there being a Chris Cooking Nashville product out there that people could buy if there was a way to keep it sustainable and also in like having integrity in its ingredients. But this is what people don't understand. The reason I put recipes on YouTube is because if I create something that helps people and I give you the direct control of it for you to make in your home, you come watch the video, I let YouTube sell the ad space on my videos, and I make money off of the fact that people are watching what I do and learning from me. So you get the control of your own health by having direct access to the information itself. I pay my bills because YouTube sees what I'm doing matters to people and they sell ad space. Everyone is winning. As soon as I take a product and I go put it in a grocery store somewhere, first of all, there's regulations that you have to meet. Okay. So that immediately limits what we can do. On top of that, you have investors that are going to have to get involved, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I don't have $1 million to go dump into a company right now.
Wait,
I
don't have $1 million?
No, and I can't if I had $1 million, the last thing I would be doing is working as hard as I do all the time. Like, we would go be musicians and I would do fun YouTube videos and I wouldn't worry about all the other things I have to do on a daily basis constantly. So I don't have $1 million to dump into a company. I don't have the ability to go get $1 million business loan for something that would take 12 to 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for the next 10 years of my life. Okay. I can't do all of that. I don't have the resources nor the desire to have something like that. So what would essentially happen is we would create a product. We'd have to meet all of these regulations. We'd have to take out massive business loans or invest stupid amounts of money that we don't have. Other people would have to be involved. There's no way we'd be able to do it ourselves. Then people would start coming in, and then they want to mess with the recipe. And how do we make it more efficient? We'd have to figure out marketing. We'd have to figure out overhead. You have shipping and distribution and storage and all of these different things. Then you have to be able to source the actual base ingredients to create the final product. Then you have to pay for the labor of all of the people who are going to run and do all of this kind of stuff. You also have to have a facility where all of this can be produced and packaged. all of that has to be inspected. You have to have all the legal fees that go into all. I mean, like when people ask me, like, why don't you sell this in a grocery store? It's like, I can't walk up to the front door of a Kroger or a Publix or a Walmart and say, hey, I've got this thing. Can I put it on the shelf? Like, it doesn't work that way. And the problem is there are so many layers of political red tape and legal red tape and just BS that we have to chew our way through to get anything like that to happen. That's why so few companies do it. And then by the time you get it there, it becomes so exorbitantly expensive for us to cover the costs, nobody would buy it.
Yeah.
Which is why when you go to the store, you don't see things that have lots of great ingredients and healthy products. You see junk that is big corporations and overseen by the government and all of these different kinds of things. Like there's a reason that all of that works the way that it does. And the problem is the only way to overcome that is we have got to get beyond the lazy philosophy of I need somebody else to make my food for me and put it in a bag because I'm busy. I get it. 4 jobs. And I still cooked everything we made from scratch and developed those recipes. I get it. And it's not an insult to anyone who asks me to do those things. I know why they do it. There is no way you are too busy to figure out how to cook food for yourself. And if you are so busy that you can't cook food for yourself, then you need to make some other decisions in your life and you need to figure out what you can start giving up because you're killing yourself. And it's not even the food at that point. It's the level of busy that you are that is killing you because humans are not made to be able to do that.
Right.
Nowhere in society, in the history of the human race, have we been able to do something that much. If you're too busy to cook food for yourself, you're too busy to live. And you're going to die because the cortisol, it doesn't matter what you do with your food, the cortisol and the stress on your body is going to kill you anyway. So if you're too busy to cook these recipes, you need to take a step back and you need to take a hard look at your life and figure out why. And you have to reformulate this perspective of, well, I'm busy. I don't want to have to cook this. I want to go buy it in a package. No, you don't. You don't want to go buy it in a package because even if I could get through all of those other things and get it into the grocery store and it would still have the integrity of all of the ingredients that are actually good for you, it would be so exorbitantly expensive, it would bankrupt you to buy it regularly. And then that's not a sustainable business model, which is why someone like me doesn't do it and why companies, when they get involved, start changing the ingredients right away. It's just, I mean, like Primal Kitchen is a good example. Primal Kitchen was doing all of these sauces that didn't have additives and they didn't have any of this stuff, got very popular. I believe it's Kraft Heinz bought them out.
Yeah.
And now I don't know. I mean, I don't really use any of that stuff anyway. But if I was, you better believe I'd be reading the back of the bottle, every single label, every time, because it's a matter of time before Kraft Heinz starts putting extra junk in it.
Yeah.
They are going to source the cheapest ingredients they can, and they're going to start putting addictive crap in it because that's why Kraft Heinz is so successful, because they will manipulate people and kill them for profit.
Well, also, if you have another company that's making, no additive, no preservative kind of sauces or whatever, well, that's now coming into their market. And so from a business perspective, it would make sense that they would buy them out and then they're going to change the thing. So now you're not going to buy that. And then they're going to make their Heinz ketchup, which is everywhere already, way cheaper. And so people are going to go, oh, I can't afford Primal Kitchen or, okay. And then you just break down and buy their stuff.
They're going to take the marketing of Primal Kitchen somehow being better for you. They're going to add in a bunch of cheaper ingredients that make it cheaper to produce. And they're going to keep the price where it is as way more expensive or even raise the price and market it as if this is the healthy option. So you can either buy their cheap stuff that they're already making a bunch of money off of, or you can buy the expensive stuff, which really isn't any better for you anymore because they've changed the recipe and it's just as addictive. But now because of the marketing, they can charge even more money for it. So they're either going to screw you out of your money or they're really going to screw you out of your money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter to them that you don't get any of the health benefits. And then this is what turns into people being like, oh, keto doesn't work. How many products that said keto on the bag or the box were you eating?
Yeah.
Because real keto or carnivore works, But if you're buying products at the grocery, it's not. So this is, and again, this is that whole taking reality, creating that because of your whole, like, I want to be skinny. I want to, whatever your fantasy, and turning that into your reality. That doesn't come in a bag. It does not come in a bag. It does not come in a box. And I'm not saying you can't use those things from time to time. That's fine. But you have to do the work and the research to know what you're using and why.
Absolutely.
So I love all of you guys. I don't want any of you to think that going to the store and giving control of your life that way to a company is going to help you.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to fall for that, because the marketing is out there to try to make you fall for it. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. The reason we don't make products and put them in the grocery store is, aside from the exorbitant expense and massive amounts of work that would take for us, is the fact the food system is not set up to help you guys for us to do that. Maybe someday there will be something like a Chris Cooking Nashville beef jerky stick that, is kind of set up to sort of work that way. Like Chomps kind of do that. There's a couple other companies that kind of do that. I don't necessarily think they taste as good as my homemade, and I'm not even sure there'd be a way to do my homemade version and put it on grocery store shelves and have it still taste as good. So, yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe someday the food system will change. Maybe we can find a way to get something out there. But as far as like I want to go to the frozen section and have a TV dinner ready for me that's keto or carnivore friendly. I want to go to the frozen section and have Chris Cooking Nashville carnivore bread just ready to go, sliced, ready to eat. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. I really don't. Not in my lifetime, probably. Maybe someday. I don't know. But I just want you guys to be inspired to go take the steps and do it for yourself. Don't listen to anybody else's marketing. Don't let somebody else take control of your diet. Don't rely on some company to make you healthy. It's not going to work. Fantasy to reality is not somebody else's prerogative to give you. That is, I mean, it's the same thing as relying on the universe, except you can change universe out for big food. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. So, let's see what we got going on over here. Lynn says, I'm glad you posted on YouTube as much as you did back then. It made me keep watching. Well, I'm certainly glad that I did, because it has turned into something real special. And the family we have here, we love you guys, and we're very happy that we have what we have with you. And it's someplace we never imagined ourselves being, but here we are.
Big blessing.
Yeah. Marissa says, do what you love, never work a day in your life.
That's right.
That's right. And Patricia wants to know, which guitar was your dream guitar?
A Gibson J200.
Yeah, the big wine red acoustic that she has.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
That was the one.
That's the one. She had the opportunity to order that, and she got it directly from Gibson because of a connection she had through a job that she was working with gear, and it was just like a dream moment come true. And it showed up way earlier than it was supposed to. And she sent me a picture from work one day, and she's like, look what got here. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, dream guitar.
So Lynn says, Ash, that is so very cool that you have that written down from long ago, and now you get to revisit those thoughts. I love my old diaries and journals. Priceless.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing to do. That's why I always encourage people to do it, whether it's just any goals, dreams, aspiration, health-wise, or, whatever-wise. It's really cool to be able to go back and read and figure out where you were a couple years ago and how you've progressed. It's inspiring for sure.
Patricia says, because the junk food gives a dopamine hit, makes it hard to give up. It's in your brain and it's hard to give up. Drugs.
Yeah, alcohol.
All
the things.
Especially illegal drugs that do it real intensely, that you can get addicted on one time. That's exactly what we're talking about. Janelle says, yes, I want to feel better than whatever tastes. That's what keeps me eating the way I do. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Patricia says, since some of your recipes make bigger batches, have you found a way to reheat the next day? Yeah, I mean, most of my recipes can be reheated depending on the recipe. Different ones I would recommend reheating in different ways. But yeah, there's always there's always ways to reheat things.
I eat a lot of Chris Cooking Nashville leftovers, and they are all usually pretty easy to reheat in some way.
There's a few things that don't really reheat super well, but for the most part, they all reheat pretty well. The ones that don't reheat really well are things like sauces that include like an egg emulsification, like a hollandaise sauce. Like you don't want to reheat hollandaise, things like that. But for the most part, any of the protein-based things, as long as you heat them the right way and you don't overdo it, or you're especially like a microwave is a terrible way to reheat things that you're trying to preserve texture because it heats unevenly. So, low and slow oftentimes is the way, and for the most part, you can reheat most things. So fish does not reheat real well. Don't reheat fish. If you have leftover salmon or something, put it on a salad or just eat it by itself cold. However it is you do whether it's keto, carnivore, whatever, just eat it cold. It's much better. Lynn says, Chris, your recipes taste wonderful, and I honestly don't miss all of the sad food. I look forward to my meals, and that makes a huge difference for me to stick to this way of eating. Thank you. You're very welcome, Lynn. I agree with you. It makes a big difference for us too. So, Maritza says, very true. Janelle says, big box stores equals shelf-stable products, not real food.
True.
You are correct. It is not real food. And Maritza says so many junky additives in food. Yeah. And it's, part of what the reason that stuff works is because, they put so many additives in it and preservatives that it can sit on the shelf and not go bad. But if bacteria and mold and all these other kinds of things can't break it down and eat it, how is our body supposed to?
Very true.
Just saying. Jackie is here, says, I watch Alicia at Keto Upgrade, and she has been trying to market her keto creations for several years, and you can watch her struggle and frustration with that process. It's very difficult. I know there's a few places that are like keto bakeries that have been making keto desserts and keto treats and all that kind of stuff. And it is a grind, and they're barely making it, and they're struggling, and they work so hard, and what do people do? They show up, they try it. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then they complain about how expensive it is. And that's just what it is. It's just what it is. So it's hard. It really, really is. Patricia says, wrapped up in a nice bow, Chris. Yeah, we try. Wallflower is here. Hello, Wallflower. I have developed pneumonia over the weekend. I'm so sorry. I'm so weak and fatigued. I'm craving carbs like crazy. Would it help to have some or make it worse? I'm no doctor. Yeah. I think that there's a line here.
Okay.
If eating the carbs, like if you try eating the protein, the eggs, the meats, the bone broth, that kind of stuff, and it somehow is making you sick, and it's like, I'm hungry, but everything I'm eating makes me sick. And I'm trying the carbs because I'm trying to put something in my body because I'm like literally just hungry, but none of the protein will digest or something. I would say I understand why you would use the carbs. I'm not that it's ideal, but it's like, neither is laying there for a week and feeling like you're starving because everything you eat makes you sick because you're just, I'm not going to eat carbs. Like, listen, our bodies can handle these things because we've had to survive, for 1,000 years or more trying to do these things. So if the carbs are going to help because you just can't eat anything, then I would totally say I understand that. And again, I'm not a doctor. This is just my own, just as a person, how I would approach this. If I'm craving carbs because I just don't want to eat those other things, but if I eat those other things, I'm still feeling fine, it just doesn't make me happy, then I think what that is your body is going through a stressful thing, and that's bringing up out of the depths of your subconscious brain a former carb addiction.
Yes.
Because it's a desire to have something make you feel good when other things are making you feel bad. And I understand because, man, I have been there. Where it's like I'm feeling like crap, and now all of a sudden I want all the things to take my mind off, and it's like, oh, that's drug use.
Yeah. For
me, I'm not saying that's what it is for you, but to me, that's how I draw that line. I can't tell you what necessarily you should do, but if it was my money, I'm saying I'm putting my bets on carb addiction rather than really physically needing those carbs to be able to feed yourself something that doesn't then make you sick. And it's hard, but you do the best you can. And you know what? If you end up eating some carbs, don't beat yourself up. Just try to stay away from them if you can. But if you have to, I'm not going to judge you for it. So I'm very sorry that you're feeling so sick, and we will definitely pray for you to heal quickly.
Yeah.
So
hope you feel way better.
Yeah.
Also, I am also definitely not a doctor and or a carnivore expert like you, but I've had pneumonia a couple times, and especially being a singer, one of the things is like I kind of try to understand like how our body works and everything. So like Chris said, if you're craving carbs, it's actually probably not that you really need those. But if you do start eating carbs, you're actually going to make your system more inflamed. And so it's actually going to probably make your pneumonia worse. Right. So I would actually suggest bone broth and, meats and eggs, like whatever you can stomach, as long as your stomach's okay, cool. But as far as actually like getting the inflammation out of like your lungs and everything, something that I usually would not have on a keto carnivore diet, but is massively helpful, is ginger. So whether you have ginger tea, ginger foot pads, the ginger is actually going to help to dry up a lot of the mucus and stuff. It's also very detoxing, and it will help get rid of a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I would do an Epsom salt bath and then have ginger. And even if your body can take it, give it a try. That's literally what I do when I am super sick and I can't sing.
Yeah.
Is I pound the ginger, and it just really will help clear all that up. And I don't have it other than when I'm sick, but if you need something that's not keto or carnivore, but having something like that will actually help your body heal is very different than having carbohydrates.
When you were not feeling good, I was making her tea, and I was making, it was chamomile. She had stomach issues. And so I was making her chamomile tea. Last week I was making her herbal chamomile tea with no caffeine. And then I was adding in mint leaves and fresh grated ginger in there and letting that all brew together. And she was sipping on that, and that helped a lot. Now, if you're feeling really weak, you probably don't want to be up doing things like grating ginger, but maybe what someone could do, you could either have it shipped to your house, or you could have someone bring it to you or something. You could get powdered ginger. May not be quite as potent and helpful, but you could use some powdered ginger and some kind of herbal tea with no caffeine, because caffeine messes with your body when it comes to the inflammation thing. So just, stay away from it if you can. But try to maybe use a little bit of that if you feel like that would be helpful. If you don't think that's helpful, then just steer clear of it and try to stick to the meat and the eggs. I would also say for something that if you're having inflammation, like the pneumonia type viral thing going on there, try to stay away from dairy.
Yeah.
Because dairy creates more mucus and more kind of stuff, and you're already dealing with enough of that kind of stuff with pneumonia
and extra electrolytes.
Yes, definitely.
And even if you don't like to consume things essential oils like peppermint and stuff, I will take like hot steamy showers and put things like eucalyptus and peppermint oil, and it will just clear out all of that for you.
Yeah.
So things that you might be able to do just
helping to open your airways and just get air in there.
But we're not doctors, remember that. But
it's just what works for us.
Yes, but we hope you feel better, and hopefully that's helpful too.
Absolutely. And if there's anything we can do, please reach out.
Let us know.
I don't know what we can possibly do, but we're here.
Yeah.
And let's see. So wallflower, Jackie said wallflower, my understanding is the viruses and bacteria love carbs for fuel. So even before keto carnivore, I've tried to cut out carbs for our family when we're ailing. Yeah. Which is really funny, because when you're sick, everyone says things like chicken noodle soup and crackers and rice and all that. And it's like, that just creates more inflammation and just feeds bacteria and viruses. So I agree that, trying to steer clear as much as possible, I think is helpful. But again, if you're like, listen, the only thing I can possibly eat is this stuff, and otherwise I'm just going to starve. I get it. I've been there. Feel better,
go back to doing what you should be doing.
I've been there. Do what you got to do, and then when you get healed and you feel better, get right back to what you got to do. But don't starve yourself just out of being stubborn.
Yes.
But also make sure it's not just a carb addiction that is your brain subconsciously using being sick as an excuse to make you eat. Because mine will do that. I recognize if I start craving carbs, immediately I'm like, what is going on that my brain is telling me I need this? Because that's my addiction coming back. Yeah. So, you have to figure out what's going on for you, but those are just our thoughts. So, Jackie says, Wallflower, definitely hope you feel better soon. You also have to weigh the cost of re-traveling through the keto flu when you hit back hard on your health goals. Yeah, that's
true.
That's a thing. That's a thing. And Maritza says, get well soon. Lynn says, just admiring your YouTube plaque behind you. Has it sunk in yet? It's getting there. It's getting there. So if you guys didn't notice, it's the little 100,000 subscriber YouTube plaque we're very proud of.
Yes.
So, Wallflower says, Chris, that makes so much sense to me. Wow, you two are such an encyclopedia. Thank you, everyone, for the well wishes. Well, Wallflower, you're welcome.
No problem.
We just are here to help. So if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Janelle says, I don't know why, but when I'm sick, I crave ham, maybe the salt content. So I would say there's probably two things going on. One is salt, because when you are sick, your body is producing mucus, or it's flushing water, or there's some kind of moisture coming from somewhere in your body. Just that's how our body flushes out junk it doesn't need when we're sick. When you do that, electrolytes go with it.
Right.
And so your body needs electrolytes. So you're probably craving ham because of the salt content, for one. The other thing, if you crave ham, think about, what do you remember from when you were young ham meaning to you? Was there a special meal that you would have, a special holiday? Was there a family thing? Was there some experience you had? Was there some restaurant you love to go to? What was the thing that makes you have that attachment? Because a lot of times when you're feeling real crappy, some very nice nostalgic memory comes back to try to help you feel better. For me, when I was a kid, my grandparents and I, it's my mom's parents, and they honestly were just like a second set of parents to me. I lived in the same house as them and both of my parents for most of my life as a kid before I went to college. And I spent a lot of my summers just kind of hanging out with my grandparents, because my parents would be, busy with work and all that kind of stuff. And my grandparents would take me everywhere when my parents couldn't. And it was always the five of us, or at the very least, it was me and my grandparents. And one of the things my grandparents loved to do was go to McDonald's. They loved going to McDonald's. Breakfast, dinner, didn't matter. When we were traveling, we'd stop at McDonald's. Like, that was a thing. Just for them, that was a big deal. When I am very happy, or when I am very distressed and depressed and angry and any of these other negative emotions, man, I start to crave McDonald's. And for years, I didn't understand that. And then when we started doing keto and carnivore, when I first started going through cravings, what I wanted randomly is I would crave McDonald's. And I sat back and I started to think about it, and I go, oh, the nostalgia of my grandparents and myself going to McDonald's is kicking in. I don't want the food. I want the feeling of being 7, 8, 9 years old and playing in the play place at a McDonald's, waving at my grandparents. And I'm associating that with the smell and the taste of McDonald's food and being with my grandparents. And both of my grandparents on my mom's side, unfortunately, my grandpa just passed away here a month or two ago, whenever that was. My grandma passed away back when a couple of years after I'd graduated from college. And so they're both gone now. And so it's like, those are great memories for me. And those are things that it's not about the food, but my brain has attached the craving of that food to the feeling of being young and innocent and having no stress and being happy and being with my grandparents. So when I'm real happy, I want to continue that feeling by going to McDonald's. And when I'm real stressed out, I want to get away from that. And I want to go back to a place where I feel like I don't have to fear anything. And I was happy just being with my grandparents at McDonald's. And there's other things that I sometimes crave that are related to like memories with my parents or different things. But every single one of those things I can pinpoint. So think about ham. Is there something in your life that makes you want it? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just kind of an interesting self-reflection thing,
right? To
say, why do I crave ham? Where does that come from? So I think it's really interesting to start to understand our feelings about things. Janelle says, LOL, just Easter dinner, no particular memory. Also craves salty potato chips. Interesting. Yeah, so you definitely like the salty stuff. So I would say just do some searching there. Not that it really makes a difference one way or the other, but just kind of a cool thing to do some searching and be like, Is there something maybe I forgot about?
Right.
Is there something that drives that? Who knows? Jackie says, I'm late to the live this morning, but did you see that High Falutin Low Carb makes Southern Keto's bread? I love when my favorite creators have crossover content and support one another.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that. And quite honestly, I'm very happy for Victor because High Falutin Low Carb Wes has a big channel and he's done a couple of my recipes, and it helps grow your channel a lot when a bigger creator like that sees your stuff and shares it. It just makes a huge difference. And Victor has done a lot of work at Southern Keto to make some really great stuff. And he and I have worked together. I've helped him out to the best of my ability because I love the work that he's doing. He's another person who's putting in the work and making dream reality.
Yeah.
He really is. His channel is growing so fast, and I'm so proud of him. But I was very happy that Wes decided to do his bread recipe because I think Victor has long deserved more attention, and I'm hoping that helps his channel a lot.
Yes.
So his bread, I haven't tried it, but it does look great. So
yes, definitely.
we might have to give that a shot. I think Victor and I are going to do another video together soon too. So
it's awesome.
But thank you, Jackie, for supporting both him and me and High Falutin Low Carb and all of us. We appreciate you. So she says comfort food is a powerful thing. Yes, it really is. So, well, guys, we're at 1 hour and 20 minutes in. This was a long conversation today, and I feel like we touched on a bunch of different things, but I hope you got something out of it. Ash and I are going to go get ready because I've got a guitar lesson I've got to do, and then we have some videos to film, and I've got a bunch of videos to edit this week. And this next couple of weeks is going to be crazy because we have a couple of weeks where we're not traveling as much for shows. We're playing more local stuff. And then I've got a bunch of videos to get ready for that can all be ready to go and scheduled because we have her youngest brother's wedding coming up. We have a trip to California coming up. We have Virginia coming up. We have a Cincinnati trip coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We have all kinds of stuff. So
yeah.
Lynn says, I'm so glad I found Victor Southern Keto through you. I love him and his channel. I'm so happy for him. Mm-hmm. She says, have a great rest of your day. Well, Lynn, thank you. Thank you for supporting Victor. He's a great guy. And thank you for supporting us because Lynn is an OG. She's been here. Aunt Lynn has been here since the beginning.
She's awesome.
And yes, we love her. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. If you haven't yet, leave us a comment and let us know what you guys are going to do to make your fantasies reality and the steps you're going to take and just kind of go from there. This is a really good point. Jackie says, I guess maybe we need to intentionally try to build new comfort experiences that can give us the love and comfort of feels that are healthier for us.
Yes.
And that's why I create the recipes that I do, so you can create new traditions with healthier options for your family. So on that note, we love every single one of you guys. Make sure to like this video, share, subscribe if you haven't. And we got more stuff coming. We've got the interview with Anita from Ketogenic Woman coming up, and it's going to be on this channel. I'm also going to do that one on the main channel to try to help people find their way over here as we start doing interviews like that, because I'm going to be doing more. But we'll be doing that on both channels, but eventually those are going to end up just here, and we're going to have a bunch of the fun sort of health informational videos coming too. We just kind of got to get that rolling. So thank you guys for being here. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor, and all of her radiant beauty over here. Yes, you guys have a wonderful Monday. Have a wonderful week. Stay motivated. Eat your meat. Love your life. We're going to see you guys here for a bunch more motivational videos, some interviews, and of course, back in the kitchen for more recipes. Bye, guys. Bye.